Hi and welcome to Johnny's Workshop. Today I will be reviewing this Lola B12 80. As you can see, it was a 24 hours Le Mans livery from 2012. This is a sealed copy, which I will be opening for the first time. It's an interesting looking model. At first glance I can see this guide is not operating. It has a stock wire here. Let's have a look inside. First thing we could do is to remove the magnet. In my case, the rear axle was a bit too tight. Now I'm gonna use the knife blade as a gauge. I've been using this 3mm drill bit to expand motor mount and support holes. You have to be very careful when doing this because the chassis is very rigid but still very thin. Right now I'm just removing the burrs. I don't think I'll be using these two screws here. I generally don't. Hopefully you're able to see the amount of movement that we can still improve that. This is still catching on the sides here. Now this is the thing that worried me. It's the lack of room for the wires on the guide. You can see how it's dragging. I'm gonna pull it apart and have a look. The rubber is catching on that edge side. You can tidy up the sharp edges around the guide support using a sharp tool. This will prevent the wires from getting stuck. It's a little bit better, but I have to say it's still dragging under the body. I wonder where it's catching at the moment. Oh well, there's one way to do that. You can use some paint and it should show more or less where it's dragging under there. So quickly before it dries. Now we can apply pressure. Have a look. Alright. This is exactly what I suspected. These little air intakes are the cause of it. You can see the paint. And by twisting the guide, we are able to reveal where else is rubbing. And I can try to back a bit as as well. Ah, doing that, it actually improved the return. I'm not certain this will ever be perfect. Well, you won't be disappointed by the amount of body roll you can get out of it. You can get it pretty loose. And it almost returned to point of origin. There's something catching here. I bet it's the same problem I had with the Group C, where the little pegs, they get stuck in the holes here. There are some mold lines all the way around these things. What I like to do is to make them not as wide. Yeah, that's so much better. Can also adjust grub screws here. Of course, this will all depend on your track surface. This part is by no means a requirement. Most people stick to chip with double-sided tape, but since I've found this accessory under the car tray, I'm about to use it anyway. I'm still not sure what it is, but I can tell it fits here, like that, because it fits that larger hole, and then you can fasten up with some screws that don't come with it. Perhaps it's for some, I don't know, a suspension system, I don't know. I was hoping this was a method of attaching the chip, because in fact I think we can modify this to attach the chip. I'm gonna make a slot on the side and create a tiny little slot there as well on each end, so it will hold it in place. Try not to go too far, as it could just ruin the piece. So we're not too far off. We're nearly there. It's a good guesstimation. All we gotta do is to create a very shallow slot on each end of these posts, just to make sure it won't move. And all you need really is a tiny little slot. I just need to square here a little bit on the end because it's touching the microcontroller. And I can see there's a gap behind the slot still. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. Made a slot and squared top end. Salvaging screws is always a good thing. Let's just cut the tip. I wouldn't want to have it too tight because I think if you put too much pressure, you're gonna change the chassis shape. You're gonna push it, forward. What if you put a screw to hold it? I think that would work as well because there are no contacts here whatsoever. So if you put a screw to tighten up, it should work. Right, I found a perfect screw for this. And this is flush. And very secure. So the lights board can definitely fit over here. See, that's why I went ahead and designed something with a smaller footprint. So you can stick in areas like this. In fact, if I didn't need that many wires, I could just put it there. It fits right in a square. At this point, I've done a few more things off camera, and in a minute I will attempt fixing the LEDs and mount the lights board directly onto the chassis. Right there. So far I was playing around with the LED supports, which I made a transparent plastic card. Now for the tail light. The mock-up tail lights are pretty easy to remove. It was just push fit. All you need is to apply pressure behind and it will come off. I've also pre-wired my LEDs. So I got two pairs for the front light, and I get an option between the very little LEDs or pair of these together. So the way this has been thought through is to hold the LED facing where you want to illuminate, and like this you can have an idea where to trace. For example, I want to have an LED here and another one there. The idea behind this is to have the LEDs as flush as possible with the card. Now what I can do is to trim the excess. Obviously the super glue is just a temporary fix. I think it looks decent enough. Because the process was absolutely tedious to get it right, I'm just going to show the result for the tail lights, which looks decent. I'm happy with that. Now, next step is to wire everything properly. And just to recap, I cut some of that plastic off. Then I'm gonna run the wires like so on the side of the motor mount. There's a little bit of plastic there. I'm gonna drill a hole on the side to get the wires around here. They're gonna go onto the lights board. And similar thing goes for the front lights. Just gonna run them on the side like this and join the lights board. Now that all the lights are installed, I put these two wires just to test the lights. So with the battery, as you can see, it's working. And the rear as well. In order to make this video shorter, there is no point showing all the wiring footage, etc. But we can look into it together. So the whole sensor effect is being rewired to a smaller gauge. It travels underneath the chip, comes out here, and this is the lights board I've designed that fits right in that square of the motor mount. And the wires, they go around here. The front LEDs are obviously a pair for each lens. So, and they travel under here along with the power, and then they come out there and turn them in the coil because they are rigid wires, and this will help it to be a bit more flexible if you had the coils there. So I've also drilled inside for the antenna, which pokes through inside there. And the rear lights are right here, just like the original car. It's all nice and neat. Unfortunately, I don't have an SCP controller to test the lights, you know, with a controller, or to go around the track. But here goes how much this weighs. So 69 grams for the chassis with all the wiring and everything. The board in its own is 16 grams. The grand total is 85 grams. Hope you like this video and see you next time.